I'll just put the gearbox in. I'm absolutely knackered. It's about 24 degrees and I've been sweating like a pig. Oh, anyway, it's in. It's had to be braced at the back. I think the balance is out because of the overdrive on the back of it. It wants to tip back. Once I've got the front prop in, I'll be alright, but I can't put that in until I've got to check the torque on that output, put a new split pin in, and then I can put the front prop shaft in. That's that bit done. I've got a little retainer clip that goes in there. There's a little slot in there and it stops that waggling about so much. That's got to go in, and I'm waiting for the 3 little screws to replace the other 2 which were chewed up on the speedometer drive. Once that's, I'll put the cable in and then put the park transmission brake on and then connect up the handbrake to the handbrake lever to the mechanism. I've got all this lot in. There's a connection goes from there into the back of the transmission brake, and then I can put the rear, I can tighten that castellated nut up, new pin on it, and then put in the rear prop shaft, and then the that gearbox is set up then, ready to go. I'm quite impressed or happy with this linkage for the overdrive for the money, and I think from memory it was just under 70 quid. Well, I weighed it up and it was going to cost me sort of 35 quid just for the bits of steel to do it from. And he's made up a joint there which you can grease, which is why the other one was solid. So yeah, it's on eBay. Just do fairy drive, Landrover fairy drive linkage. You'll pull him up, and I think it took 2 days, so pretty good service. What else can I tell you? Slightly concerned as to the fuel tank position. It picks up on these 2 here, and there's a little rubber bush, I assume to stop drumming the tank. But if you look at that corner, how that sits, I don't know whether that's going to be clear of the bodywork. So the rear, and my gut feel is that the tank's warped a touch, because I had to use extra long bolts to get them in and then crank them up, so there's a bit of a twist on it somewhere. Anyway, if it needs to come down, I can undo the nut on the bolt, lower it a touch and put some bigger rubber bushes in, or with packers of some form, just to drop that corner down. I mean, it's an inch and a half. The other one was high, but not that high. I assume so, it's all running towards the pickup point. So yeah, hurrah! So having a look at the radiator panel off this Clanger. This is a repair panel made by these chaps. They're around, I think I'll give 35 quid for it. I've seen them up to 40 odd. Thickness is good, it's to shape, except for that is substantially deeper than that, which means that that hole is reduced in size. All the steps down, which is lifting that up. So that's lined up, and I've got, I don't know, 1/4 inch gap. The way they've made it, it looks to be a CNC cut, or CNC laser cut, and then press brake to turn the returns. As a result, they've got no bevels here, so these nice radius corners are missing. This shape has got fairly different, it's probably the same depth, but the curved sections are different, and it sits higher. Whereas if you look at that, it's almost on the bottom edge. This is 1/4 inch higher, then you've got the incline. So there's, when it's on, unless you knew what it was looking like, you wouldn't notice much of a difference. And it's not a hugely visible part from memory, but I'm not entirely sure what they're in for. There might be a hangover from the earlier series, I don't know. Anyway, what I'm weighing up is whereabouts I'm going to cut this and how much of this new one I'm going to cut away, because you can see all the bottom edge is gone and this face is all gone. I've got a hole in here and some pretty nasty corrosion here, albeit it's still solid, so I think that one's fine but that one's not. But because this is different, I've got to change both or neither. That's pinhole in there already. So yeah, it's a bit of a conundrum. These had some little plastic clips in, so it'd be nice to take that out and then drill and put a bloody riv nut in, stainless steel one. Same with that one and that one. So yeah, don't want to just start hacking it away until I've got a cunning plan. The other side of it is, there's a strengthening rib runs along. It's double thickness, which is why it's all blown out. So I've got to take that out. But yeah, and at some stage I'm going to send the whole thing away and get it shot blasted, because I can't get into the rest of it to clear it out with a grinder. As you probably noticed, I've already took a chunk out the end of my finger. So yeah, new parts, 370 quid plus VAT. There's some used ones, but they don't look much better than this, you know, questionable, and they want sort of 75-80 quid for that, so I think I'll repair what I've got. Anyway, bring you back when we have a plan. That's the first pass after tacking it. This bit's just lifted a, well, 1/16 of an inch here, so I'm not overly fussed. It's fairly flat across the other, so I'm going to grind off the welds and see how it looks. And then the next job's to build up these corners. I can live with them. They're not brilliant, but I've got to fill these in, so I can always just give them another dab. But I think they're good. It's nice and strong anyway, and it's good penetration. I've checked the inside. So now, yeah, I've got to put these fillets in to bring this radius around. That's going to be fun. Well, as good as I could have hoped, I guess. A bit variable. I mean, in fairness, I should have probably cleaned the back a bit better than I did, so the welds are a bit ooly. But it looks better. It certainly looks better with that return on it. For all the buggering about, it took longer to do that than anything else. Slight mishap here, misaligned, but Christ, you ain't going to see that from 20 foot unless you're getting hit. And I've missed welding these bits, so I've got to go back over it tomorrow. There's one there and the one there, but it looks all right. I'm going to call that done now. I've added the reinforcing piece that was on the original. It's not a great design because you've obviously, unless I seam welded it, which is beyond my capability, you get water ingress behind it, it rusts and then blows it apart, which is what's happened originally. I've tacked it on. I'm going to send it off and get it sandblasted to get the rest of the paint off, and then I'm going to give it 2 or 3 really good heavy coats of zinc primer, and then plenty of top coat. But it looks all right. Prepared the bit along the top as well. And I'll be brutally honest, I think by the time it's built up, you'd have to look twice to notice, unless you knew there was a difference, you'd have to look twice to see these. Looks better with the returns though, worth the extra half day. Panel flat wise, I've straightened that out. I've put it's pulled in on the back here, so this bit's proud by about 1/8 of an inch, and that bit's sunk by about 1/8 of an inch. I've evened them out, but it's a bloody Landrover at the end of the day. They don't do flat panels. So yeah, another job done. Well, I'm calling them good to go. So I've remade up the ends. The other ones had a plate fitted about 10 inches long because it was all corroded here. I've kept the original feature, which is what I couldn't find in any of the alternatives out there being sold. And they're all over 100 quid for the pair, so I've saved myself. Well, if we did the sums, it's taken me 2 days cocking about, but my time's for naught. And about 500 kilos of tungsten carbide tips after dipping it. About 2 meters of welding rod. But it's done. I had a piece of steel and still got plenty left. So I'm happy with it. I've learned a bit more about the TIG welding. I've reproduced many of the errors I should have learnt from last time, such as not cleaning it properly. But it's not easy trying to get these little recesses in. You see on, I thought there was one on both. Yeah, there's see the rebate there. Well, on this one, it corroded through, so I had to set a plate in for that. It's not great, but it'll do. Plan is now find a friendly shot blaster, get them shot blasted, and then take them in for hot dip galvanising. So they'll pickle them, hot dip galvanise them, send them back. Probably saved a tenner. Trying to fit the new fuel tank. Got those fittings. Yeah, up there, they like that all lines up. And then come down, and the rear fittings, you got a slotted hole there, which is supposed to line up to that. Not a chance in hell, and that is a good inch out. Alright, yeah, it's a brick part, but you'd have thought they could have get it right to within, what, 1/8 of an inch? Not a bloody inch. I'll scratch my head now and decide how to make a mod to make that work. I don't want to drill a load more holes in here, and if I drill one in here I can't get to the nut. The bracket's not long enough, so I'd have to probably take that off, come back an inch and weld it back on. Shouldn't really have to though on a new part, should you? Bugger. So, a little bit about the workshop. It's 9 foot by 9 foot, which is about 2.7 metres by 2.7 metres floor slab. It's timber construction, just like a normal shed with larch, and steel corrugated roof. Basically, I think if the shed, the roof, and the floor, I think the whole lot come to 1,500 quid. The cheapest I could find, well, not cheapest, the most suitable shed I could find on the market to buy was at least twice that, and you got to put your own concrete base in anyway. And there's like 300 quid's worth of material for that. Anyway, I've just painted the floor over with some polyurethane floor paint. It's had long enough for the floor for the concrete to seal up to, well, there you go. The moisture's come out of it now. It's been down 6 months. And it'll stop it dusting up. So my bench is now full of everything. I tidied up that wall, put all the spare bits of timber in, and I'm hanging stuff up off the floor. So give that a few hours dry off and then start unloading it.